Hey y'all, welcome to the 6th episode of the Yarn This podcast. I'm Shama, Jessie's Girl 84 on Ravelry and Instagram. You can find my Yarn This Facebook groups on Facebook and Ravelry as well. Today is Friday, March 4th, 2016. Today, my segments are going to be Puppy Love, my works in progress, Another One Bites the Dust, my finished objects, the final countdown, things that I'm going to start, We Are Family, knitting groups, events, podcasts and podcasters, or maybe even independent dyers. 1 week, my miscellaneous, and Danger Zone, my knitting problems. So first, let's get started with Puppy Love, and these are my works in progress. The first thing I'm working on is We Need a Geek to Break the Code socks. This is a pattern by CC Almond, Java Pearl, and Ravelry. I'm knitting these socks out of Mustache Dapper High Twist Sock Duo in the Tortuga and Seaweed colorways, contrast heel and toe, using size 1.5 to 2.5 millimeter needles, and I'm using my 9-inch ChiaoGoo circulars. I'm doing the Fish Lips Kiss heel because I've discovered that heel fits me the best, and I really enjoy making that heel. I think it's a $1 or $2 pattern, and it's a very long pattern, but you really only need to trace out your foot and then follow along with what she says to do and the instructions. I mean, you can read through the whole thing. I didn't, but it's worked out really well, and I like the way this one fits. So this is my finished sock. This, I believe that the Tortuga is the main body of the sock, and the Seaweed is the toe, heel, and cuff. And you're not getting a good look at the real colors. The green is quite, of the toe and heel is quite a bright green. And then the foot and the leg are shades of green, kind of like sea-type greens. There's some bluish and like a almost whitish green. And this is as far as I've gotten on my second sock. Now, I love knitting these socks, and I do want to get them finished because, well, I was hoping to get some St. Patrick's Day socks knit, but these would be perfect because they're green. Anyway, so I would like to go ahead and get them finished for St. Patrick's Day. This pattern is a pattern every row. It's not just a vanilla sock. It's based on, I believe, what did she say she did? Binary. She put in a binary code, and it translated the words into binary, and then she took the binary and translated it into knits and purls. Now, this is only an 8-row repeat, so what I've done is I've taken each row, each round, and I've written it down on a postcard, a index card. So each round is written out on one card, and as I get through, I flip it and go to the next one. This is the first time I've actually done this, and I've heard of a lot of people doing this, and I do like the way this one is working out for me. But I need to get back to it. And the reason that this is taking me so long is because of my other work in progress, my campside shawl. This is by Alicia Plummer, and it was in the pompom.com website. That's Pom Pom Quarterly Magazine. It's a British knitting magazine. I first saw it knit up by Collie and Stitch Girl, my friend Erin, and I loved hers. Actually, she was the second one. It's very squishy, but I found out from her last night she used a DK and I'm using a Sport, so hers was just a little bit squishier than mine and probably a little bit bigger. And I also saw Danny from Little Bobbins Knits podcast, Little Bobbins on Ravelry, and hers also looked very squishy. Now, I'm not at all disappointed with the way mine is turning out. It's charted, and I do not like charts unless they're in the round. But someone had written this out row by row, so I was able to get that Her name is Pam0908, and I sent her a message on Ravelry, and she emailed me the written out pattern. But if you're going to use the charts, you might want to look back and see what other people have said about it, because there are a couple of issues. Nothing major, really, but you do want to know before you get started. I'm knitting this out of Brooks Farm yarn, Solo Silk. It's 50% fine wool and 50% silk. And it's kind of purpley blues, with a little bit of a brighter blue stripe in there. You can kind of see the stripes, but you sure can't see the true color. Anyway, I have gotten through charts 1 through 4 if you're doing the charts, and I just started charts 5 and 6. The way the charts are written up, 1 is 1/2 of the shawl on one side, and then the chart 2 would be the left side of the shawl. 3 would be the next section on the right side. 4 would be the next section down on the left side. I like the way it is written out a lot better. I'm knitting this on size 7 needles, 4.5 millimeter, 4.5 millimeter. These are my knit picks. I can't remember, the blue and green ones. I love these. And it's going pretty quickly. I need to work on it a little bit more. Last week was an insane week for me. I'll get back to that later, but I didn't get very much knitting done. But anyway, so this is where I am so far, and I'm really liking it. Again, it's by Alicia Plummer, and it's from pompom.com. Now, I have also started, and I don't usually like to have 3 projects going, but this particular project is for a girl that works with my son, and he had worn his Jane hat to work a couple of weeks ago, and this girl saw it and wanted one, but she did not want the Jane colors. Jane Cobb from Firefly and Ravelry and his mom had sent him a hat, knit and sent him a hat, and in the show, it's kind of a crummy little old hat, but it was knit by his mom, and so that's the original one. But the girl that I'm knitting these for wanted dark turquoise, and really the only dark turquoise that I could find was more of a teal. So I got a turquoise, and she told my son this was a fine color. So I'm using this purple and turquoise, and then the last color is called Jelly Bean. Here's the purple. And then I'm into the turquoise, and it's going really fast. And then the ear flaps will be out of the Jelly Bean, which is this pretty primary, maybe slightly less than primary green, slightly lighter. But you held it double because it's a bulky hat. And then when I get through, I'll knit a big old pom-pom to go on top out of all 3. Did I say knit? Make a big old pom-pom. So that's what I'm working on right now, and I'll get this hat finished up probably tonight or maybe tomorrow, hopefully tonight though, and then I can get back to my socks and my shawl. I'm knitting this hat, on size 10.5, 6.5 millimeter needles, and did I say it's by Beth Collins? Anyway, this is a fun little project, real fast, and if you know anybody who likes Firefly and Serenity, this is absolutely a great gift to knit for them. So those are all my works in progress. Now my finished objects, another one bites the dust. The first thing I finished were Kelby's YouTube mitts, the Nux, for my son, by Pamela Grossman from Knitty to Summer 2006. I wanted to say 2016. I knitted them on US 5, 3.75 millimeter needles in the Plymouth Encore worsted. Now, these were written for, I believe, a DK weight, but I wanted to knit them in worsted because that's really what I had on hand. So I looked, and there were other people who had knitted them out of worsted, and what they did was they went to like a women's size for a man, and went down to a smaller needle, and that's why I went down to a size 5. And I knitted these in the women's size for him, And he's very tall, but he has very slender hands. Let's see here. I'm going to pull this up. Here we go. And this is the picture you're going to see is how they fit me. But they fit him really, really well. Now I'm going to knit myself a pair. And I don't know what, I might go down a needle size. I don't really want to go down to the children's size. I think that would be too small. But his were in black, and we didn't embroider anything on the knuckles yet. And he might not want anything on the knuckles. I probably will, and I know what I'm going to put on mine. But those are down the road just a little bit. But I wanted to talk about, when I did these out of this, like I said, Plymouth Encore worsted. And this yarn was left over from my son's Harry Potter blanket that I knit him in 2009 when he graduated from homeschool. But I had all my leftovers in a bag, and I found a partial skein of black and then another much bigger skein. I thought, well, I'll have tons of yarn. When I finished up the first one, I had something like 8 rounds of the ribbing left at the wrist, and I pulled out the other skein, and it was bulky. It wasn't even the same yarn. I don't know where it came from. I don't know what yarn it was. There was no label on it. I don't know why I stuck it in that bag. So anyway, I thought, well, this is black. It's probably not going to be so much of an issue with the dye lot as it would be for some other colors and other yarn companies maybe. So I went ahead and ordered it from DizzySheep.com. And I was going to talk about this in We Are Family, but I'm going to go ahead and finish up talking about it now. Dizzy Sheep does not charge shipping. On one little skein of yarn, they could charge shipping. I ordered this yarn on New Year's night. It was a Friday, and they had it shipped out the next day. I didn't expect it to be shipped out even for a few days, but they had it out the next day on Saturday, and according to the tracking, it was going to be in Houston, and I was supposed to have it by Monday. I thought, good grief. So Monday came and went, and it wasn't here, and I thought, it was January. I wasn't too worried about it. I had other things to work on. Well, it got here at the end of that week, and the post office held on to it for more than 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks, I believe. And they just kept holding on to it and saying it was undeliverable and all this kind of stuff. And finally, they shipped it back to New York, all the way back to Dizzy Sheep. In the meantime, I had been in touch with Dizzy Sheep, not to complain because I knew this wasn't their fault. But they talked to me a little bit, and so as soon as it was shipped back, I sent them another email letting them know, just to let them know it was coming. And so the girl emailed me back, I believe that night, and said, as soon as it gets here, I'll ship it back to you. So she did. And it was wrapped up in this cute little wrap. It was a plastic bag, but it had a cute little bow around it. And she said for my troubles, they were giving me a 10% off discount on my next order. So DizzySheep.com has amazing customer service, free shipping, and they're very, very concerned about keeping their customers. So I would highly recommend DizzySheep.com if you need to order some yarn. The other thing I finished was, are you ready? Drum roll. Ta-da! The scoreboard cowl for the Broncos. Woo! This is only a fourth of it. It's humongous. This is only half of it because it's joined. You can see right there where it's joined. I'll remind you again, this is the scoreboard cowl. Oh my goodness, I didn't write down who came up with it. I'm so sorry. But it's in my my finished objects. I call this the Peyton Manning cowl because we love Peyton Manning. I knit this on size 7 needles, 4.5 millimeter, out of the Knit Picks Brava worsted in the orange, Solstice Heather, and the white. So I was able to keep this a secret from my husband during the whole football season, and I got behind, and the last couple of weeks at the end of the season, I really got on it. And I only had like a couple of games left the night of the Super Bowl, but I asked him a couple of times, would you like to know why I'm needing to know the scores as we're going along? And he's like, no, not yet. So I finally finished up on February 12th, 2 days before Valentine's Day, and all I had left to do was join it. And my husband and I went on an early Valentine's date that night, and I just went ahead. I said, do you want to see it now? It's all done except for joining together. And he said, yes. So I pulled it out and showed him at Starbucks, and he was so excited and happy and surprised, and he kept saying, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. And I don't know why he was proud of me, but this is a guy who's never really wanted anything knitted. He was like, I don't know where I'd wear it. I'm not really a scarf wearer or this or that. I did knit him a balaclava when he worked on the oil rigs, and it was blue and orange for Peyton Manning. And he did wear it a few times when it was really, really cold, but now he doesn't work on oil rigs anymore. But anyway, I told him, I said, I've got a lot of leftover yarn from this. And he said, would you knit me a hat to match? I said, sure. And then he asked if I would knit him a black and white checkered scarf for the Indy 500, because we go to that every year. And so I said, absolutely. So that will be coming up pretty soon. But anyway, let me tell you, though, about the two danger zone issues I had, my knitting problems. First is the Peyton Manning cowl. It is, like I said, super duper long. And I thought I had it all lined up, and I joined it, and I Kitchenered it together. Well, I didn't have it all lined up, as it turned out. And when I got through, there was a big twist in it, and I was so frustrated. I tossed it off to the side, and at that moment, I didn't want to work on it anymore, but I knew I wasn't going to throw all my work away and my husband's happiness in the scarf. So I just left it on the floor for a little while, and then I went ahead and just pulled out the Kitchener. Well, I had done, oh no, what kind of, just a second, I'll tell you. I can't think. The kind of cast on you do, provisional. And so the beginning provisional cast on was just knitted up from there. The ending one was just your end stitches. Well, that was really easy to pick back up, but the cast on provisional was extremely difficult. So I'm not super happy with the way it looks. My husband won't ever know, but I couldn't seem to get it right. But the way I got it lined up was I laid it all out on the floor, and not only did I make sure there wasn't a twist in it, I made sure that the stitches were all lined up, because when you've got that many stitches, you want to make sure that they're all lined up. This was it laid out on my floor. And I know you don't have a good way of telling, but it's long. It is really long. Here's the first picture of my husband wearing it. Just as long as it can be on him. And this is it doubled up on him. And when we go to Indiana for the race, we're usually there for the weekend before the race and the weekend of the race, and always the weekend before the race, and I say that, and this year it won't be like that, but it is usually freezing, like miserably cold. So he'll have that this year, and probably have his Indy 500 scarf to wear as well. But anyway, I'm really glad I did it for him. Now, on to my other danger zone, which was the Texans scoreboard cowl. Now, if you follow football, you know that they they started off having a really rough season. And then they got it in gear, and they did pretty well. But they had a couple of games where they had 40-something points scored on them before they ever scored. So I had these big hunks of red, and then a little bit of blue and red and blue. And then the first playoff game, they didn't even score at all. So I asked my husband what he wanted me to do, because I only had like 5 games knitted. I said, do you want me to keep going with it, or do you want to just wait and see how they do next year, and then maybe do it? And he said, let's just wait till next year. So I did something I don't usually do. I cut it and I tossed it. I could have frogged it, but like I said, it wasn't that far. I didn't have that much yarn invested in it, and the yarn that I was using, the Knit Picks Brava, is not very expensive, and I got it on sale to begin with. So I just wanted that gone out of my mind, and so I could move on. And I don't regret doing it, and I don't regret tossing it. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is always exciting, is the final countdown, my future projects. Let me turn my notebook here. So, I recently found the Breaking Bad shawl by Jessica Anderson, and the knit along actually starts on the 7th. There's no way I'm going to be ready for that. But I got, hers is done in very bright colors. Let me pull that up. She did hers in neon yellow, in like a neon blue. And I showed y'all before that I had actually gotten this neon from Knit Picks. Neon blue, which is the razzleberry. The neon yellow, which is highlighter yellow, and it's exactly highlighter yellow, even though it looks butter yellow here. And pucker, this hot pink. I had ordered another skein of each of these, but I think I'm also going to get another skein of this, and maybe even like 2 more of this and 1 more of each of these, because I don't know, I could knit a ton of stuff out of that neon. I'm definitely a child of the 80s, and I've always loved neon. So I could do that shawl maybe in 3 different colors, or maybe the turquoise and the neon yellow. We'll see. Anyway, I'm really, really excited about working on that one. That pattern is by Jessica Anderson. If you get the pattern before March 7th, it's $2 off for knit-along participants. The next thing that I'm going to start, and I need to start very quickly, are little Easter projects for my nephew, my niece, and their little cousin Nash. I think that I might go and do either Susan Claudino or Anna Horokovic Teeny Tiny Mochi Mochi patterns. Susan Claudino is known at Sherlock. I have knit several of her patterns, including the Bonbon. And I just went to her website today and noticed, her Ravelry group, noticed that if she's having another knit along like she did at Christmas, and if you knit the Bonbon, you can enter it twice. Well, I'm thinking about maybe knitting one for all 4 of the kids, and at least my niece and baby Nash. So I have some other Susan Claudino patterns. I have the snail one. I have the octopus. So I'm not really sure, but I need to get those decided and started very quickly. I might even have to put my shawl on hold and hopefully get my socks done. And then the last thing that I would like to get knit by Easter is a baby blanket. The same family, my sister-in-law's family, her cousin is having her first baby. I believe she's due in April. And I found this pattern from the Knit and Chat group on Facebook. This girl had designed it. Her Etsy shop is Cape Cod Stitchery. I could not find Cape Cod Stitchery, nor can I find her patterns on Ravelry, only on Etsy. So Cape Cod Stitchery. But she had just designed this really cute baby blanket called the Reversible Chunky Knit Reversible Baby Blanket Pattern. It looks like a quilting pattern. It's really cute. And I bought this pattern, and I really do want to knit this for my cousin-in-law. But with time being so short, I'm kind of thinking of knitting my favorite chevron baby blanket that I've knit in the past. Let's see if I can find it. It's quick and easy. I knit one for my niece. And then this girl who's having the baby asked me if I would knit one for a friend of hers for a baby shower. And I did. I'll show you. And this is the Striped Chevron Baby Blanket by Jess Doomcrafter. Here it is. And I haven't decided what colors I'm going to knit this in. Who did I say this was by? Jess Doomcrafter. Striped Chevron Baby Blanket. There are lots and lots of chevron blankets out there. This one is done with the yarn held together double, which the other blanket is too. They're both bulky. On a size 11 needles. So I could get this done quickly. I'm just got to decide which one I'm going to do. So, those are upcoming. And then the last thing that I would like to work on, and I'm going to start this in April, is the Valentine Knit Along by J.L. Fleckenstein from the I Live on a Farm blog. This is a mystery knit along, but I was able to go and look because it's been going on for a while now and get an idea of what people's projects look like, and there are hearts knitted into it, which makes me very happy because I am a heart girl. Here's one person's. There's their heart. So anyway, I'm going to use my yarn that my friend Kim Marie dyed for me called Shama's Choice. That's the colorway. And I believe it's 75% superwash and 25% nylon in a light fingering weight. And it's blues, purples, pinks, and turquoise because I love those colors. Boy, I wish you could see it. Anyway, I would like to get this started so that I can work on it while we're at Fiber Festivals in April. I also plan to be knitting a pair of socks out of more of Kim's yarn. That's Kim Marie's Knit Knacks, Kim Marie 73 on Ravelry. And this, I've shown this to you before. This is the Wizard's Duo colorway. Kim Marie's Knit Knacks. She has an Etsy shop. This is in the Gryffindor and Slytherin colorways. So I will probably be working on these socks soon. And then another thing that I would like to start is some more stripy arm warmers because I wear mine all the time. And I think I'm going to use my another skein of my Harry Potter yarn, and this is from Mustache in the Perfect Sock Self-Striping in the OCD, which is 2 perfectly dyed skeins of yarn that match up. If you knit them from the beginning, you're going to have perfectly matched socks. This is the Sorting Hat colorway in Uneven Stripes. This is all of the house colors. So those are my upcoming projects for now. I'm as bad as my kids. From one Halloween to the next, they change their mind about their costumes that they want to wear 1,000 times between Halloweens. So anyway, I wanted to talk about a new app I've gotten, and it's called Knitting Buddy. Now, you can either get this as a free download, or you can subscribe for a monthly fee. For me, I would rather just have a one-time download. I'm sure I'm missing out on some things, but even though it's the free one, it is really, really amazing. What you do is you take screenshots of your pictures on your tablet, of your pattern, screenshots of your pattern, excuse me, and then you can download them into Knitting Buddy. You can keep track of your project. It's got row counters. It's got like repeat counters. But one of my favorite things, and this would be great for whether you're knitting out a written pattern or if you're knitting out charts, is there's this red line, and you can move it up or down, and you can keep it where you want it to be with your pattern. So as you're going through, it's one more way to keep up with where you are and not get lost. And for some patterns, it is really, really easy to get lost. So I'm definitely liking that. I'm having a few issues I need to talk to my friend about, but I do like it. Also, Ravelry has come up with a new one called, I shouldn't have said it. You know what? I'll talk about that one next time. Sorry. Let's see. Oh, yes. My younger son, both of them like to play video games, but my younger son has recently bought one called Unraveled, and the little character is called Yarny. He's also a very crafty kid. He does things, he knows how to knit. He loves to do things with clay. He can draw. He's good with his drawing with his computer. So he decided he wanted to make some Yarnies. Now Yarny, the little character from the game, the premise of the game is it starts off with this old lady, and she picks up her knitting basket and starts upstairs, and when she does, a skein of yarn rolls out and down the stairs, and it becomes this little character who goes out into the world and has these adventures. But as he goes, he becomes unraveled, which is the name of the game. But you have certain places that you get to, and every time you get to them, you get more yarn, you get wrapped up again. So Kelby made the first one red because that's the color of the character in the game, and then he made this one for me. He's blue because blue's my favorite color. And when I got up that morning, I did my usual morning things. I emptied the dishwasher and started the coffee pot. And I went back, and sitting on top of my laptop was Yarny. He was just propped up there perfectly. And Kelby's had fun making. He's made a bunch of them. So I love little things like this. I keep them up here on this shelf at the very top, just sitting up there. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about in We Are Family are my new knitting needles. I needed to get some new ones. Oops, sorry. Oh, these are the Caspians. This is what I'm using for my campsite shawl. The other ones, I just happened to need some more needles because some of my original ones had broken and I haven't had them replaced. And I will say this, at the beginning there were some issues with the Knit Picks needles, the wooden ones, but they would send you free replacements, no questions asked, and they have since gotten so much better. I have no issues with them anymore. So if you're wanting to get a set of interchangeables, I highly recommend Knit Picks. They're very affordable. They're beautiful. And if anything ever happens, they'll replace them for free. So I got the new ones. These are called Majestic, and I just got really fortunate that these came out just as I needed them. I don't usually jump right on the bandwagon just because I don't always have the money. These are more like jewel tones. Still having a hard time seeing. Anyway, and as all of the Knit Picks needles are, they're very smooth, and I'm loving knitting with them. So hop on over to Knit Picks and find out what they've got to offer. And they have sales on their needles and their yarn, constantly having wonderful sales. Oh, that reminds me. Just a couple of weeks ago, sorry, I don't know why that got turned up. I went on, when I ordered those, there were a couple of patterns I wanted. Well, an ebook and a pattern from another ebook. I wasn't really interested in any of the other patterns from this one, but it's from the, well, I can't remember what the book is, the ebook, but it's a knitted clock, and it's got sheep on it and flowers. And so I ordered this pattern as an instant download. Isn't that adorable? And I also ordered the ebook Celtic Journey, because cables are my weakness, or my strength, or however you want to look at it. But if I see a cabled pattern, I'm a sucker for it. So here's one of the cardigans that's in it. Beautiful, beautiful. It has a couple of hats, a pullover, a couple of cardigans, a stole, a throw. One of the hats comes with a set of mittens too. And then Rhiannon, which is another pullover. It is beautiful. And I can see it knit in this perfectly beautiful green color. Yeah, I would like to get some of these knit. The throw is fabulous. Let's see. It's called the Stornoway throw. Well, let's see. Here we go. It's got kind of a checkerboard pattern on it. Make it a little bit bigger. And then it's got a cabled edging. Can you see that? Oh my goodness. That's gorgeous. And I've bought a couple of other patterns as well recently. I have a weakness for patterns. So, the last two things I wanted to talk about today are my newest book, Stitch New York, and I had talked about Stitch London last time. These are 20 kooky ways to knit the city and more. Just has really, really cute little things that are reminiscent of New York. There's a King Kong. There's the Statue of Liberty. There's the Empire State Building. Let's see. Oh, the New York Fire Department. Because they're a great group of guys. All of our firemen and policemen are first responders. Oh, here's a little Woody Allen. Let's see. Oh, there's a hot dog cushion. A huge one, apparently. And a hamburger. Big bad hamburger. I've knitted one big bad hamburger in my life, and that was enough. I mean, it was fun, and my nephew loves it, but I'm probably not going to be knitting any more giant food. There are some dog sweaters. Here's one that represents our flag, which I love. Some hats. Oh, here's a cute little hat by Anna Harakovic, and that's Anna of the Mochi Mochi Land. She's adorable. Leg warmers to keep you warm in the city. Oh yeah, I was going to show you the Empire State Building. So this is a cute little book. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about, and I won't talk about it very long, is my bullet journal. I jumped on the bullet journal wagon. It's a way for me to keep up with everyday life, and I've started journaling. When I was in junior high, I wanted to constantly have a diary, and I have a few little partial diaries. I even sometimes took notebook paper and cut it in half, tied string through the holes, and made little homemade diaries and stuff like that, because I never really stuck with it. In junior high, it was usually if I had a boyfriend. But anyway, I'm not really doing this like a lot of people do, but I'm doing it my way, and it's working out really well for me. I'm still very interested. There are lots of bullet journal examples on Pinterest, Instagram. You can look up, I think it's bulletjournal.com, where it originated. There are all kinds of journals that people get. Some are expensive. Mine was very inexpensive. I got it at Target. It's Markings by C.R. Gibson. And this little journal's got 256 pages in it. I need ruled paper because I can't write straight without it. A lot of people practice their handwriting with theirs. A lot of people draw in theirs and very artistic. I'm not artistic. I prefer my art to come out through my knitting. But anyway, I started off with my word for the year is positivity, or being more positive. I'm trying to be more positive. This one says happiness, but it's a little cartoon thing I saw, and it says, "Where did you find that?" I've been searching everywhere for it, and it's just somebody with a sad face. And then there's a person holding a jar that says happiness on it. It says, "I created it myself." So I drew that, and then these are my exercises to try to, And then I have my personal information at the beginning in case it ever gets lost. And then my index, which is a very important part of the journal, because people go back and look at things that they need, and sometimes they just go back over years of journals and just see certain things that happened. So every time I add like a month, I put what days it covers, So I have what I plan to knit, knitting projects that I'm working on, vitamins that I take, so I have them all right there instead of having to pull all my vitamins out of the cabinet. I'm working on losing a little bit more weight this year, and I've got that. What I'm reading, quotes that I like, because I do like really good quotes, podcast ideas, general goals for the year. Like, for example, one of the things I would like to be able to do is to be able to step up into a lunge for my yoga and get better at my yoga. And then I go to my months. And you can, as you're going through, if you come up with a page of like an idea you want to put in, like songs you want to download to Spotify, for example, you can just stop where you are in the middle of a month. It doesn't matter because you're going to put it in your index so you can go back and find it later, and just start making your list of your songs. I've broken mine down, like I said, by month, and I started off, I got some washi tape, and I put it on the edge of this page here, excuse me, to mark the beginning of January. And then I went through and I took 5 lines and dated them. I didn't start mine until the 11th of January. One of the reasons I started this is that my husband's schedule varies from month to month. My older son's schedule at Starbucks varies from week to week. And my younger son's schedule at Whataburger is pretty consistent. He has the same 2 days off for now. I mean, that can change, but for his is kind of a long-term consistent. Also, if we have doctor's appointments like my son's neurology appointments or anything that I need to take care of, if a car needs to be inspected or needs to be put in the shop or whatever, I just list these in this section. So I'll put the date, and then I put everybody's work schedule on a line. And I can't do the full month at a time, but I have it there ready to go week to week so I can write it out, because I can't keep up with it if I don't. And they get tired of me asking. And then when that is at the end of that listing of the days, then I start actually writing what happened that day. Like for the beginning of January, where I started, I was sick. I did do yoga that day, and I try to remember how much water I drank every day. I'm trying to keep up with that, trying to drink more. If I took my vitamins, how many steps I got in during the day. If I did a walking exercise, how many miles I went, and how long it lasted. If I do yoga, which yoga did I do? If I finished something knitting-wise, or sometimes just what I'm actually knitted on that day. If we went somewhere. I don't like to call businesses. I'm kind of a big baby, but I had some issues with my laptop at the beginning of the year, and I wrote down the phone number for ASUS. I wrote down what they told me to do, what we did, what my case number was, the guy who helped me, and then that way I can go back and reference it if I need to later on if I have problems. If we go somewhere, there have been some sad things that have happened all in January that I wrote down. And then I went on to February, and again I did the same thing. I put some washi tape right here to show me where the beginning of February was, and then I wrote down people's schedules. And for example, on Valentine's Day, I wrote that there with a heart. My older son's birthday is February 27th, and he was 25, sorry, so I wrote that there. Anyway, and I've just started March. I've got everybody's schedules. My husband's that I know through the end of the month, he has some extra days that he'll be working. I have my My younger son is going to see some friends at the end of the month. I have all of that stuff already written down. So I just wanted to suggest bullet journaling. You can do it much less work than I'm putting into mine, just like what I did today, what I need to do today, and that you can do that quickly. But I like the way I'm doing it. It's going to give me some things to look back on in the future, and I'm just kind of enjoying keeping up with things. Well, I guess that's about it for now. Hopefully, next time I podcast, I will have pictures of this finished hat. I definitely will. My finished We Need a Geek to Break the Code socks, and be working on my Easter projects by then. So until then, keep on knitting. Knit on.